Right, hello guys, Jack here from Peach Guitars, and you join me today in a different location to usual. I've decided to do a little bit of a mini tour of the Peach Guitars shop that we've got here. A lot of you guys obviously won't have been able to come and see the store, and if you haven't, I thought this would be a great way to start showing you around piece by piece of what we've got here, starting in one of my very favourite rooms in the whole shop, which is this is the Taylor Guitars room, which is very impressive, filled with all ranges of Taylors, all the way from baby Taylors and GS Minis right up to the kind of state-of-the-art 800 series, 900 series. We've got custom guitars here as well. We've got builder's edition guitars, and one of those in particular is what I wanted to spend a little bit of time today to just talk you through. Now, we do film individual video product listings for each guitar that comes through, which I'm sure a lot of you will have already seen some. So this guitar that I'm playing today is a builder's edition 717E. We have already filmed a listing video for this guitar, and if you'd like to hear in a little bit more detail with high quality audio what this guitar is capable of, I have already filmed a listing video of it. So if you want to find out more information about it that way, after you finish this video, you can check that video out and you'll get more of an idea of what this guitar sounds like. However, what I wanted to do today was do a little bit more of a kind of candid approach here and just talk you through some of my personal thoughts and pick out a few of my very favourite guitars from a few different brands, but as I said, we're starting with Taylor. So I wanted to just pick out a few favourites and basically give you a bit more insight than those product listing videos that we normally shoot will ordinarily provide. So I wanted to play this 717 because this is quite a pivotal guitar for Taylor, and it came out a couple of years ago. They unveiled this brand new body shape, which is the Grand Pacific, which has been a long time coming. A lot of people for a number of years wondered why you didn't see very many Taylor Dreadnoughts, or slope shoulder Dreadnoughts more specifically, and this is now Taylor's answer to that. And it's a very unique take on the traditional Dreadnought design, because as a lot of people will know, Taylor guitars are an absolute pioneer in paving forward new guitar building technologies. Basically, they're not a company that rests on their laurels at all. They're quite a relatively new brand compared to some of the other heritage acoustic guitar brands that are on the market. So rather than try and compete with that, they very much do their own thing, and they offer the player a bit of a different experience to playing a Martin or a Gibson or something like that, which is one of the main reasons I really like Taylor guitars personally. I think they do genuinely offer you something different, and if you're primarily an electric player, which a lot of us are, sometimes when you play an acoustic it can seem like a totally foreign instrument. You have to treat it with a different respect, a different set of kind of playing values, but Taylor guitars just ease that burden a little bit and make it a little bit easier to shift into acoustic mode, I find personally. So that's why I wanted to spend a bit of time and tell you about this, which is one of my favourite guitars. It kind of encapsulates all those things that I love about Taylor, but it also marries it up nicely with the classic slope shoulder design that people will be aware of guitars like the Gibson J45 that has that design. It's got a very specific tonality that's hard to replicate any other way, so it's nice that Taylor have added their own kind of elements to that design. So what you'll have heard at the opening there was perhaps not anything that you'll have heard from a Dreadnought style guitar before, because it's very unique. As I said, you've got way more kind of clarity than you normally have out of a big-bodied guitar like this. Now, something I really like about what Taylor are doing at the moment with their higher-end guitars like this is that they're really utilising their fantastic new V-Class bracing system. Now, we've done quite a few videos discussing what that actually is, what it means, and what it does to the output of the guitar, how it balances the tonality, how it makes it easier to play, how it makes the notes ring out more, how it makes the guitar intonate much better. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. But I think this guitar is quite interesting in the fact that it marries all that modern technology up with a very classic design. So what that means is, when you play big Dreadnought style chords that you'll be used to doing, you get it all with a much more refined sense, and it basically means that it's easier to play. You don't have to work as hard to get the notes out with your picking hand, and it means that when you play single notes, they have just as much impact as when you play big chords, which is sometimes a struggle on a bigger bodied acoustic. So let me demonstrate that further by playing some single note lines, and I'll couple it with some chords in there as well, and you'll hear just how basically it sounds like a very polished recording. As I said, if you want to hear this guitar in more kind of fine detail, do check out the listing video. This is just being recorded with a single microphone in front of the guitar, but still that's going to come across, I hope. So let me demonstrate. So I would find that normally when you play a Dreadnought acoustic guitar, it's not easy to get that kind of sensitivity out unless you're either playing really hard or you have to basically compensate in every other way by not chording very hard to make sure that those single notes stand out with the same kind of impact. But with the technologies that Taylor imply in this guitar, I don't think you have to worry about that anymore. And that's particularly beneficial, as I said before, if you're an electric player and you're used to having that kind of feel under the fingers of every note is basically pretty even because you've got a pickup, you've got an amplifier and everything that's compressing the sound, more so than with an acoustic guitar. I think an instrument like this doesn't leave you feeling quite so helpless as you might feel if you play an acoustic guitar for the first time, or if you're more of an electric player and you very rarely play acoustic, it kind of helps to ease that gap to jump to acoustic playing. Now obviously you can go the other direction and play this guitar with all your force that you would apply to a traditional Dreadnought. If you want to play strumming, stuff like that, this responds in exactly the same kind of way. You still get that power and that heft because this is still a spruce top with a rosewood back and sides guitar. It is also, being a builder's edition, a little bit of a unique kind of genetic makeup here. This is torrefied spruce, but it's got Taylor's basically satin, silent satin they call it, which means that if you're particularly sweaty when you play, then you don't have any of that kind of squeaking that you get out of a gloss top guitar. And I think it's quite a cool aesthetic as well. The back and sides are also satin, so this is rosewood on this guitar. So that typical spruce and rosewood combination is something you've seen a lot of in acoustic guitars, but it never quite sounds like this. So let me give you an example now. Strumming some big chords, and I think you'll hear that clarity and detail that I was talking about with the V-class and the various other components that they all contribute to that result. It's definitely one of those instruments, I think, that's very difficult to stop playing, whereas some guitars you find that you basically want to play what you have to play and then move on. With this, it's very much an inspiring guitar to play because you can play all those different kind of stereotypical guitarisms that you have in your head when you think of playing a strumming pattern or playing single notes or whatever. But the guitar being so easy to play and sounding so good all the time basically just leads you in different directions. And I think that's very useful to have a guitar like that because it does inform your playing, makes you play things that you wouldn't normally play, especially, as I've said before, if you are mainly an electric player like myself, not that comfortable with acoustic guitars necessarily. Having an instrument like this really helps catapult you into acoustic territory without giving away too much of your sensibilities with the feel of an electric guitar. Plus, you've also got, this guitar being a Taylor, a fantastic ES2 pickup system on board, which basically means that you can plug this in and you get a great amplified sound for recording or for live use. You don't have to worry too much about miking it. Even though we're miking it today, you can still get a great direct sound with these Taylor guitars, and that's fairly uniform across the board now for Taylor using the ES2 pickup. But as I said, this is one of my favourite guitars just because it's that little bit different. It offers something different to what most people will be aware of typically with Taylor guitars with their grand auditorium and grand symphony body styles. It also doesn't have the cutaway, obviously. So it is maybe the Taylor for you if you're more of a vintage acoustic freak. If maybe you haven't considered them before and you want something that's a little bit more modern to add to your roster, or equally if you are an electric player and you want an acoustic guitar that fits the bill for comfort and tonality, this is basically a great contender for that. So I hope you've enjoyed this little introduction to the 717E. If you want to find out any more information about this guitar, you can check out peachguitars.com and check out the web listing we've got there. You'll be able to purchase it, you'll be able to check out high resolution images and also see and hear the guitar in high resolution audio clips and video clips that we record as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you have and you want to find out any more information about Taylor guitars in general, please do so by going to peachguitars.com, and make sure that you like and comment down below with your thoughts if you've enjoyed this video. So stay tuned, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.